Oh boy, did you have questions about the Unihertz Titan 2. I love it. People are excited about a keyboard phone again. I have some answers for you. We'll go through a lot of your questions that you had about this particular device because I think a lot of it's important. I did get an answer on one of the questions that I got multiple times about the LED notification light or the lack thereof. We'll talk about that in a moment. But let's take a more in-depth look at this and answer the questions that you had about the Unihertz Titan 2 right now. And we're back. More Titan 2 stuff is always better. Let's start with the biggest one first. I could have swore that there's these little, you could see them there just in the reflection, little pieces of glass that I swore could have been an LED notification light that even if it wasn't on now, could have been included, because this is a prototype, could have been included in the production version. But I heard back from Unihertz PR, it's not an LED. There is no LED notification light in the Unihertz Titan 2, which along with the lack of a headphone jack and the lack of micro SD card expandable storage, I think were really missed opportunities on this particular device. The one thing that made me laugh slightly is that Unihertz said, well, there wasn't enough room in the device, which, a little giggle, a little chuckle at that, given the 10.8 millimeter thickness of the phone. But at the same time, I understand that. And there's a lot of people that got on the thickness of this device. And you have to understand this. The only people that have the resources to make a phone like this thin are going to be the people who are never going to make one of these phones. Samsung, Apple, Google, people who can put in the R&D dollars to custom build a lot of these parts so that they play nice together, so that they all fit into a slimmer form factor with a keyboard. That's not going to happen, okay? Because like I said, the people who have the funds to do that are not going to build one of these phones in the first place. So you're going to have to accept the fact that it's a little thicker. Unihertz is using off-the-shelf stuff, so it's got to basically fit in. What they can buy parts-wise has got to be able to fit in here. Now, there's an upside to that. I don't know what the repairability of this is, because I don't see the same screws I see on the other Unihertz devices, but it'd be interesting to see if they had the same user repairability that they have on a lot of their other phones. The other thing, even though it is on the thicker side, it's significantly more pocketable than the original Unihertz Titan. This thing was always catching on my pocket. It was thick. There was the rubberized texture. It was just a big, bulky thing that, yes, if you really wanted to use one of these keyboard phones, you could carry this around in your pocket, but you better be wearing cargo shorts and you needed a lot of space. That's not the case here. It is a thicker phone, yes, but it is a slightly squatter phone. If you're measuring it up against an iPhone, it's about an inch shorter than an iPhone, and it's a little bit, it's like a half an inch wider. It basically uses the Z-axis to fit in the other stuff that you don't get in the other areas of the phone. And because of the fact that it is squared off, because of the fact that it is a sleek design, it does work well in your pocket. I can carry this in a regular jeans pocket. And that was the thing. When I take this out, people are like, oh, but how do I carry that around? And they put it in their pocket, regular pants, and they're blown away by the fact that they could actually get away with using this and carry it around in their pocket. So I think that's something that you should certainly take a look at. It's a bigger phone. Yes, it's a thicker phone. It's 235 grams, so it's a touch heavier than what you're used to, but it's more pocketable and usable than you think, and certainly a lot more than the original Unihertz Titan. Other thing, I like the fact that there's a bit of the thickness and the squared off design. I like the fact that I got a solid platform to type on. And I mentioned last time, this is the best keyboard since my original BlackBerry Passport. It's certainly the best keyboard that Unihertz has ever shipped. Someone wanted a typing sample, so we're going to go into Discord here. This is my Discord. The first person that realizes that we're typing here. So hello from the, oh hell, hello from, oh boy. See, this is what happens when you type in trying to do this fast. It works better than this. Hello, yeah, from the Titan 2, okay? And you could go ahead and do that. And what I like is, yes, is it slower than some of the glass keyboards when you're typing on them? Sure, but it's more deliberate. I make less mistakes, and it's a heck of a lot more enjoyable than you think typing on one of these, and you get used to it. And you get used to it, and you also, it's a much better experience overall, especially when it's more expansive. That was the problem with the other ones, like the Titan Pocket and the Titan Slim. It's just not an expansive experience on the typing, and it makes it a little bit harder to enjoy the experience. On this one, if you're buying a phone if you're getting a physical keyboard phone, you're buying the phone for the keyboard. So I want the keyboard to be big, and I want it to be a nice typing experience. This feels like a device. Now, it's not like BlackBerry, where they're building the thing from the ground up, the OS, BBOS, and all the rest of it, for a keyboard. However, Unihertz has done a nice job over the years making this feel like a tailored experience for keyboard users, because you can kind of scroll across with the capacitive and all the rest of it. But I think that this 1:1 aspect ratio with the wide keyboard is the first time on one of these Unihertz devices where I don't feel like it's just Android with a keyboard slapped on the bottom. It feels like a keyboard phone with a version of Android, yes, but it feels more like the keyboards at home, if that makes sense, at least more than the other ones. Software support, it's getting until Android 17. You'll get Android 17 on here. They're pretty upfront. Unihertz is pretty upfront about the fact that it's not going to be monthly updates. You're not going to get a keyboard phone in 2025 that's getting your monthly security patches. So that's something to consider. But in the past, you were maybe getting one version update of Android. Now Unihertz is going to, it ships with 15, it's going to have 16, and then you're going to get 17. So that's something that people were really concerned about. They want to see apps running on it. I mean, look, you could pull up Instagram on here, and you could scroll through. There's not a lot of app compatibility problems. There really aren't. And that's the other thing people were concerned about. It's like, oh, is it a problem with apps? And is it a problem with apps working? It's really not. It's a smooth experience. Most apps work just fine. I really have not had a problem. And what happens is, like, Slack maybe had a little bit of an issue. Someone asked, is it the thing where if you go to respond to a message, does the message box take up the entire screen? That really hasn't happened in WhatsApp. It's more of a problem in Slack, but those are the incompatibility issues you're going to see. So the worst case scenario, you can't see what someone above you had typed, but again, that's not the case in WhatsApp. WhatsApp works fine. Messages works fine. So that's something that you'd have to watch out for, but only, again, it's going to be in certain apps, and I wouldn't really worry about it too much. IP rating, sure. Would I have liked that on here? But if it's at the cost of the rubber, if they were able to take out kind of the rubber membrane on the keyboard and get me a better typing experience, I'm going to take that trade. And I understand that people wanted some sort of peace of mind against splash resistance and everything else, taking it out in the rain. I get that entirely. But at the same time, I'm buying this for a typing experience, and I want to make sure that I get the best one there is. The subscreen really divided people. I like it for music controls. Would I have preferred, you can even pull up Instagram on the back screen. I mean, is that an experience that you're going to want? Maybe not, but it's an experience. I mean, I don't know what you're going to do there. Would I have preferred a notification LED? Sure. Am I okay with this? Yeah, because you can have it face down in a meeting. You can see when notifications come in. It can light up. There's lots of different things that you could do. Companies have done this before. I know a lot of people said, well, why not just make it thinner, maybe include a better camera, and not have something like this on the back. I see that argument as well. I probably would lean towards that camp. Make it a little thinner, maybe even make it a little cheaper if you could get something like the subscreen off, just add a notification LED. But beggars can't be choosers. And if you're going to tell me that this is what we have in 2025 for a keyboard phone, it's a pretty darn good one. It's a pretty darn good one. The other ones that I've used, like the Titan Slim, like the Titan Pocket, after a few days of typing and using it, I'm ready to go back to a full-fledged smartphone. I don't want to get rid of this thing. I don't want to have this out of my hand. I absolutely love using it, and it's just an enjoyable experience to type on, and you get used to it in a hurry. You're not as fast, you're not type as quickly as you had been, but you get used to it in a hurry, and I really like it. The other thing is, I think Pokemon Go, let me see if I can pull that up pretty fast. Yeah, it's a little wonky. Pokemon Go is a little wonky, but that's because of the aspect ratio. And that's something that let's see, I'm going to have to go ahead and get in here as fast as possible. But that's going to be kind of your struggle. But that was the issue on a lot of the BlackBerry Passport devices as well, or app experiences as well. Let's see if we can get in here. There we go. And it's going to boot us up. I'll turn that down. But you'll get to see. We'll go ahead and catch a Pokemon here, and you can see it live because that was a special request. And this deep into the video, I know it's the people who are really interested in this stuff. But see, look at it. See, you can have that. But then you get this, right? So the game fits on there, but you get kind of this stretching that you wouldn't get otherwise. And that was the experience a lot of times on the when you were looking at the BlackBerry Passport apps, ones that didn't really go as well with the 1:1 aspect ratio. However, see, like, I don't even know if it's see, yeah, that's, you see like how the Pokeball's down there a little bit. Let's see. Not an awful experience. You can play it. Is it going to be my preferred method to play Pokemon Go? Absolutely not. But the upside, and what people commented on gaming-wise, is even though that Android games that were designed for slab phones might not be that great on it, a lot of people are saying this is ideal for an emulator. The 1:1 is perfect for Game Boy games or old emulation games on those 4:3 screens that you can have, and you can have the buttons down here for controls. So when one door closes, another one opens. But overall, look, I think you're going to be pleased with it. I think if you're somebody who is a keyboard fan, if you've had the original Titan and you hung it out with that, oh boy, you're going to like this thing. So link in the description. Again, I don't know if it helps the channel. Let's just assume it does. But this is the best keyboard that you're going to have a chance to buy. And even with the different limitations and difficulties, and it is not the most powerful device in the world with a Dimensity 7300, but it has 12 gigs of RAM. So there are things, and if you get a cheap sub $300, I don't see a problem with it. Backup device, just want a keyboard phone, it's really good. Don't let the thickness bother you. It's more pocketable than you think. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.